Well, it's been a while since we've been here, hasn't it? Hi, I'm Sam, welcome back to the channel. It is the monthly movie review series, except this time I'm covering stuff from March and April of 2022 because, as it turns out, college is a lot of work, and I got very swamped with work at the end of the semester, but I'm done now. And also, I didn't really watch that much stuff in April because also busy, as it turns out. So here we are to talk about movies and also some TV stuff that I watched in March and April of 2022, and I will give it a score. Letterboxd is in the description below, as always, and if you like what you see, you could press the subscribe button, possibly. Do you know Tom Brady drinks like 6 of those in a day? It's too much water. It really is. Anyways, so the first movie I watched in March was Matt Reeves' The Batman, and I'm sure, as you've probably heard by now, it's a pretty good movie. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a really good movie. So to get the basic stuff out of the way, The Batman is a 2022 superhero movie starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, other people who I'm forgetting the names of, directed by Matt Reeves. It is a standalone, not connected to the DC Extended Universe. This movie's been in development hell, and I've kind of been keeping tabs on it, and I really like what came out of it. Usually when something's in development or production hell, it usually doesn't come out being this clear, focused thing, but I really felt the vision. I got what Matt Reeves was trying to get across with this movie. So I had some friends who really did not like this movie, and a lot of it boiled down to the tone. This movie is not a Marvel movie. This movie takes itself, I'd say, a bit more seriously than Marvel. When I say Marvel movie, I think of the boring Marvel movies. So think like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Spider-Man Far From Home. I will not elaborate on that. I hate that movie. Like, there's jokes in the Batman, but they're not like... It's when, spoiler alert, when Falcone gets shot, Batman doesn't look at Catwoman and go, well, that just happened. It takes itself a bit more seriously than that, and I really appreciate that. So, my friends did not buy into the tone of this movie, and I think that's a big reason why they disliked it. So, in the opening narration of the movie, there's 2 big monologues by Batman to start and close out the movie. And if you don't buy into the tone of the first monologue, you're not going to like the rest of the movie, ultimately. I thought the movie was really good overall. I liked the colors. Oh my god, the colors. It was such a nice movie. It's such a refreshing change of pace after movies like Spider-Man Far From Home. There are no visually interesting scenes in Spider-Man Far From Home. If you haven't noticed by now, I don't have a script. I'm just going off whatever comes into my brain when I think about these movies. I liked that the effects were practical. I liked the car chase scene. That was very good. That was probably the standout for me in the movie. I thought all the performances were great. I loved Robert Pattinson as Batman. I really liked Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. Paul Dano. Everyone says Paul Dano was the standout. I disagree, but okay, I get it, I guess. I don't get it, but what are you gonna do? I really liked the movie, is what I'm trying to get across. I'm going to bring up some things, and I'm probably going to talk about them for a bit, because it's easier to talk about things you don't like than things you do like for some reason. Kind of weird. Anyways, this movie was 3 hours long. That was a little too long for me. I feel like maybe half an hour could have been trimmed out. I feel like, also, the movie kind of starts to fall apart. The weakest part of the movie is the third act, by far. Also, there were some goofy parts in this movie that I don't know if they were supposed to be really goofy. For example, when Batman jumps off the GCPD building, I understand that this is an inexperienced Batman. I get it. But did they have to do a close-up on his face while he's in the wingsuit? It looked silly. It looked silly, and it took me out of the movie. That was the one thing that really took me out of the movie. My friends had some, CinemaSins tier complaints. I'll save you from those. Actually, I'll give you one of them. They had a problem with the movie that Catwoman had milk in her fridge. Do you not have milk in your refrigerator? I feel like it's a normal thing to have. You have milk in the fridge. Anyways, I really enjoyed The Batman. I have to check what I gave it real quick. Hold up. Sheesh. I gave The Batman an 8 out of 10. I'm excited to see the next one. On to the next movie. The next movie I watched in March was American Psycho, and this kicks off spring break week. So over spring break, I stayed at my friend's house, and we watch the movie every night. So I got a bunch of movies, and I'm kind of gonna rapid fire through these because I don't really remember most of them super well. So I'm just gonna kind of go through them quickly, what I liked, what I didn't like, and then we'll go to the next one. So the next movie I watched was American Psycho. American Psycho is a 2000 thriller film directed by Mary Harron and starring Christian Bale, Jared Leto, Willem Dafoe, and some other people. Yeah, so if I had to use one word to describe American Psycho, it would be based. American Psycho was a very based movie, as you've probably seen from the dozens of clips of it circulating around online. It's a very quotable movie. It's a very funny movie. That's the thing. From the memes that I've seen of it, I thought it was gonna be like this super serious movie about like Patrick Bateman going around like killing people. And Patrick Bateman does go around killing people, but it's funny. With the scene where he kills Paul Allen, it's really funny. It's a thoroughly enjoyable movie. I don't think it's gonna be on my rewatch list anytime soon. I was mostly watching it so I could understand the jokes online a little bit better. And also throughout the movie, I was going like, "Oh, he said the thing! He said the thing!" I was Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV. It was solid. I liked the ambiguity of the ending. I liked does he actually kill anybody, or did he kill somebody but he didn't actually kill Paul Allen? I like that. I gave American Psycho a 7 out of 10 with the description of based as fuck. I gotta read off of Wikipedia for this one because I don't actually know this information off the top of my head. The next movie I watched was Airplane. This was the second movie I watched during spring break. Airplane is a 1980 American parody film written and directed by the brothers David and Jerry Zucker and Jim Abrahams in their directorial debuts. Wow. Airplane is a movie that I was shown by my parents when I was a child, and it's one of those movies where if I say, "Oh, have you watched Airplane before?" and somebody goes, "No," I'll be like, "Okay, we gotta watch this, like, right now. Trust me, it's gonna be worth it." So, Airplane's a great movie because it takes these serious dramatic actors and puts them in a comedy film, and for the most part, they just play it straight. It's fantastic. I feel like everybody knows
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
But there's just like a whole bunch of stuff like that in the movie. It's great. There are some parts that haven't aged well, but I feel like that's to be expected out of any movie from 1980. It's just something you gotta roll with. This is another movie where it's like, I don't know how to describe it to you without just explaining all the jokes to you. The timing's great. It's a funny movie. If you want to watch a funny movie, go watch Airplane. You won't regret it. Trust me. I gave Airplane a 9 out of 10. Alright, so the next movie on my list isn't actually a movie, but I want to talk about it because it's something that I spent a lot of time watching. So you may have noticed on your YouTube recommended feeds, if you're anything like me, that there were several multi-hour videos on iCarly and Victorious by the YouTuber Quinton Reviews. In specific, the 8-hour-long Victorious video. I watched it twice over spring break. That's a lie, actually. I watched it the week before spring break, and then I watched it the week of spring break. It's just, oh my god, it's fantastic. It's one of those, like, to me at least, that's what I want to be making. It's a fantastic video. It's well written. It's funny. The twist at the end, ooh, the twist at the end. I'm gonna rip this from his Twitter, but it's like people were comparing it to the Shape Land as Animal Kingdom twist in the Defunct Land Fast Pass video. I think it's a little better than that, honestly. Because at least with Victorious, you think you know what's coming. You think you know the answers. You do not. I promise you, you do not. Unless you were like a diehard Victorious stan. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a great video, and with how long it was, I felt it would be appropriate to mention it here because it was fantastic. The next movie I watched was Full Metal Jacket, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Arlie Emery, Vincent D'Onofrio, and this guy. Full Metal Jacket is another movie that is critically acclaimed. The way I picked the spring break movies was we would go through my lists on HBO, because one of my goals for the year is I want to go through every single movie that I had on my watch later list at the start of the year and have all of them gone. If I add anything, I can get to them later, but I want to get through everything. And so a lot of them are just like these critically acclaimed movies, so I can be like, yeah, I watched that movie, so like, but yeah, so as you probably know, this is another movie that like I feel like most people have just watched or know what it's about. Full Metal Jacket is about a group of Marines at boot camp before going off to Vietnam. So the movie split into two halves. There's the boot camp portion, and then there's the Vietnam portion. I feel like the boot camp portion is the part that's a lot more focused and good, I guess, but you do need it in order to have the second half make any semblance of sense. So yeah, the boot camp part has the best performance in the movie because it's not really acting, like it's acting, but like Arlie Emery was a drill instructor, so it's just him doing what he knows how to do. So like when he's yelling stuff, it's like, wow, I believe that was an actual drill instructor yelling at me. And the guy that they were going to get for the drill instructor before they gave it to him was I think he's the helicopter pilot. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like I remember watching that in a video or reading it in an article somewhere. And that also serves a point. I feel like this is a movie where every scene has a purpose. There's not like any garbage scenes in this movie. And shocker, it's a Kubrick movie, so I'm just kind of preaching to the choir here, but this movie's really, really focused on what war does to people and even the preparation for war. So it's like the first half of the movie is trying to make the soldiers into killing machines. And so it's all about, you know, stripping away all of your individual characteristics and just kind of making you into a killing robot. And so, you know, Private Joker is allowed to remain like snarky and stuff. And so that kind of cements him that he will never be this killing machine to the military. And then, you know, Private Pyle becomes that killing machine at the end of the first half of the movie. And so, you know, is a perfect killing machine attainable? Yes, it is. But is it sustainable? No. But so then they go to Vietnam. You know, Joker's got Born to Kill on his helmet, and then he has a peace sign on it. So it's like, well, you know, which one is it? The second half is just war as hell. Like, that's all that second half of that movie is. You know, it's seeing how those killing machines that the military made actually end up functioning. Because, you know, all of the soldiers, like, have personality traits, you know. All of them have these traits with them, and then, you know, they all get killed. And then at the end, you know, they get to the city. Who's the sniper that's been taking them out? It's a kid. You know, eventually they end up killing her. But then they walk out singing the Mickey Mouse, the MICKEYMOUSE, while like they're walking through like a burning city. And it's just like it's a very iconic scene, it's a very good scene, and it just emphasizes to me like war is hell. You know, you've got this childlike song playing over, you know, destruction of like a city. Fantastic. You know, it was a great movie, great watch. I gave Full Metal Jacket a 9 out of 10, and we are in the home stretch of movies, I believe. We got a couple comedies, I think. The next movie I watched was Muppets from Space. It wasn't as good as the Muppet movie. Fight! The next movie I watched was Muppets from Space, and it was pretty mid. That's really about all I have to say about it. It wasn't as good as the Muppet movie, but it was better than the Muppet movie. You know, it was kind of whatever. I like the Muppets, so I enjoyed it, but I can still acknowledge, hey, this was a really mid movie. There's a lot of queer interpretations you can get out of Muppets from Space, and I definitely picked up some of them, a lot more than like my not queer friends who were also there. So that's cool. I feel like you get more out of the movie if you are a queer person able to pick up on the queer readings in this movie. It's fine. It's short. It's only like an hour and a half. So whatever. I don't really have much else to say. It was a very mid movie. It's the Muppets though, so, you know, whatever. The next movie I watched was Tentacles. So I found out that Hulu was doing a thing where they make a movie every month for like a holiday. And so this is the Valentine's Day one, and this movie was very bad. I will be upfront with the score. I gave this movie a 2 out of 10. I greatly disliked this movie. This movie was long, it was boring, I didn't really have much to say. mean, I guess a little bit it did, but I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was me trying to find meaning in a meaningless movie. So the movie is about a relationship between this dude and this girl, and I can't be fucked to look up their names or the actors who play them right now. It's not their fault the movie was bad. They gave okay performances. It's just a not very good movie. So it's about their relationship. And so you think that, like, the girl's being stalked. And so it's kind of about that. A girl dealing with a stalker. But as the movie goes on, there's some stuff that's not adding up, you know? There's a tentacle that crawls into the guy's ear while he's asleep. And then, you know, we found out that the girl apparently changed after she broke up with the boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend, who's now the stalker. Ooh, interesting. And then it turns out that she's a tentacle monster who's been trying to eat the guy in his sleep so that she can take on his form. And she does. And it sucks. It's just not, like, it's not very good. It's not interesting. It's just boring. The movie is very washed out. It's like that. They forgot to do color grading. It's very gray. It's a very gray movie, which, I mean, you can do. It works well sometimes. It does not work well for this movie. It's very gray, washed out, boring to look at, boring to experience as a movie. I'm sure it's not, like, I acknowledge that it's very hard to make a movie, and I probably could not do a better job than these people did, but oh my god, this movie was fucking boring. The next movie we watched was The Cat in the Hat. That movie, while I acknowledge that it's a flawed movie, that was a very fun movie-going experience. It's like Jackass from the last time I reviewed movies. It's like Jackass, where it's like, I understand that as a movie it kind of sucks, but this was so fun to watch. This was a fun movie. Like, it's just so wildly inappropriate. You know, there's this channel Razzle where it's like every time there's a wildly inappropriate joke, they drink. Like, that movie, it's just so inappropriate. Like, there's one where they pull out, like, a picture of the mom, a framed picture of the mom, and the cat, like, opens it up, and, you know, like, well, first off, it opens up. Second off, the cat's hat goes, whoop. Like, how'd they get that into a kid's movie? How? That's not even subtle. Like, you know, it's not like a subtle dirty joke where it's like, gold doubloons, don't drop them, Gary. It's like, the cat got an erection looking at the mother, who is rather attractive. It was just fantastic. You know, Alec Baldwin, great. Mike Myers is there. 7 out of 10. All right, that was all the movies. Are you ready for the TV round? I'm not yet. Also, I haven't been updating this board. So, oops. All right, TV round, here we go. So, fun thing about me is that I was not a Star Wars kid or a Star Trek kid. I do not like Star Wars. I think I'm gonna be real. My hot take is that Star Wars is kind of mid. I don't like Star Wars that much. I think Star Trek is more interesting. I was a Doctor Who child. My mother made my brother and I watch Doctor Who growing up, and so that's kind of where I have a nostalgia spot for it. So, over break, I also had my friends start watching Doctor Who. So we started with the 2005 reboot series with Christopher Eccleston. So series 1, Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper, and it was really good. You know, I haven't watched it since I was a kid. I think it's really focused because, you know, it wasn't, we're going to make this show forever and ever and ever, so, like, we can just do whatever we want and kind of phone it in, you know. Every episode had to be really good because, you know, the show was kind of like, we need to prove that we are worthy of existing. And so the first episode really kind of sets the tone, you know, it really introduces the character of the Doctor, sets up most of what's going on, the first 3 episodes, actually. So you have a present day episode with Rose, where it's like the mannequins come alive. The second episode, we have a future sci-fi episode where they go to the end of the world. And that's a really cool episode, too. And then the third episode's a pseudo-historical, which are like the 3 bread and butter Doctor Who story episodes. And so those 3 episodes really give you a taste of what the show is and what it's going to be. And so throughout, you know, you have this whole bad wolf setup, which they finally pay off in the finale. You get some great side characters. You get Captain Jack, really just Captain Jack. And I think it's just a really focused season of TV, you know? I think TV is great because it lets you do more than you can with a movie. And I think Doctor Who Series 1 really kind of gets that. And I think it's a really solid series of TV. You know, I'm still watching Doctor Who. I'm probably going to talk about it more. This is like Naruto, where I said I was going to watch Naruto, and then I just kind of fell off of it because it was just like, I'm busy. I got other stuff to watch. I might come back to it. But yeah, so this is the end of the fun part of the video. I'm going to talk about another show that I watched. So content warnings ahead for sexual abuse and statutory rape of a minor. If you're uncomfortable with those topics, I completely get it. And I hope to see you again in the next video, whenever that may be. But I'm going to talk about it for the rest of the video. So feel free to leave if that makes you uncomfortable. FX as a Teacher is possibly one of the worst television series I've seen in general. Not quality-wise, it's very well shot, it's very well acted. The writing is not good. So the series is about a teacher who begins having an affair and relationship with one of her students. And the first 5 episodes of the show are set up to establishing the relationship that they have. And then the last 5 episodes are the fallout of that. And so the first 5 episodes of the show are fucking disgusting. The show doesn't take its subject matter seriously enough. It wants to handle these topics. It's kind of like the 13 Reasons Why thing. It's like, we want to have a discussion about this, but we're not going to actively like condemn the teacher's actions. And in fact, we're going to kind of like romanticize it almost. Like it's disgusting. Like it's disgusting. Like this is, you have to keep in mind, this would be like a 30-something-year-old woman. So probably 30 to 35-year-old woman, having an affair with a 17-year-old. It's a gross power imbalance, you know. And the show kind of makes it be like, ooh, isn't it hot that they're making out? This forbidden love. It's like they fell into that trope where it's like, ugh, it's icky, it's gross, it's nasty. I don't want to think about it. So for the first 5 episodes, the show's kind of being like, ooh, isn't this taboo? Ooh, it's taboo. They can't be doing this, but they are. It's just like, no, this is like a problem that happens in real life. You can't be like doing this. And then the last 5 episodes, they decided to be like, okay, that was bad. She's going to jail now. Okay, bye. Like ugh. It's like literally all I can think of is just ugh. So the last 5 episodes are like, hey, he's realized, like, the guy's realizing he has a really messed up perception of what intimacy is because of the connotation of his relationship with his teacher, and how that's kind of been following him around. It's like, cool, could we have gotten more of that? That's what I actually want to see from this show, and not the, ooh, look, they're having sex in a car now. Isn't it hot? She wanted to have sex again, even though they all agreed to have sex once a week. Like, ugh! This show sucks. This show's bad. The show does not take its subject matter seriously enough. And, like, they have a thing at the end of the episodes where it's like, you know, if you know someone going through this, like, here's resources. And it's like, that's great. But, like, maybe don't make the first half of the show, like, a will they, won't they thing. It's just, it's just not good for anyone involved. Man, I really hate to end the video on this, but, like, I really don't know what other way I could have put this in the video. Thank you for watching. I know this was probably hard to sit through, at least this last bit. I'll probably have a regular video in a couple weeks, and then I'll probably be back next month with this, and then we'll see where things go. So, yeah, I'm Sam. Thanks for watching, and take care. Peace.